Hey guys, this is Bobo from Heli Freak. Just making a quick video to show you a problem I had with the tail on my Compass 6HV and to show a quick solution that I did in the field the other day. Basically this video revolves around some slop in the tail and what to do about that to eliminate the slop. I've never been a fan of slop. I don't like it. I don't like the issues that it can cause, especially in the tail. But either way, this is just a quick fix. Doesn't cost a lot. Might not cost anything if you have the parts on hand, and is really quick and easy to do. A couple things I'd like to point out is this tail that you see is the stock Compass 6HV tail. Nothing about it is altered or changed from stock. It's all stock components, plastic blade grips, etc. This is not the original tail. I have to mention that I did crash this helicopter a few weeks ago. Everything in the tail, with the exception of the tail case body, has been replaced with all new parts. And I have to say that the original tail came pre-assembled out of the box, and it was fairly precise. When I rebuilt it with all these new parts, it was even better, which I was happy with. But prior to the crash, I noticed that the tail developed some slop after just a handful of flights. And this replacement tail, unfortunately, did the same thing after about 10 flights or so. And the slop that I'm talking about here is in the blade grips on the hub. And I'm going to show it to you. And just by grabbing the blade grips and pulling each outward at the same time, hopefully you can see the movement here. Now everything is tightened. The nylon or the nylock nuts on the hub are tightened all the way. They can't go any tighter. And so here's the slop that I'm talking about. And to me, that's fairly significant, unacceptable in my book. It did not start out this way, so something has worn out or worn in, however you want to describe it. But basically what I'm going to do here is show you what is causing that slop and then show you what I did to fix it. So anyway, there's the slop. After the fix, we'll do this again and you'll see that it will have been totally eliminated. Okay, we're back. I'm sure we all know how to disassemble the blade grips on this. Just take a hex driver and remove these two screws, which I've done on the other side. And what you'll find, if you leave one of them on, and that's the one that is attached to this pitch link here, and that's the beauty of this fix, is you don't have to disassemble anything else other than to separate the blade grips. So with leaving this one on, I will do the same thing and pull each blade grip away from center at the same time, and you can see exactly where the slop is. If you can see that, moving it back and forth, it's obvious that the slop is in this pocket here. And if you do this on your own, it might be easier to understand what I'm talking about. But the pocket that this outer radial bearing and the thrust bearings reside in somehow has become larger, and as a result of that, it can move back and forth. So what we're going to do now is take this grip half off and proceed with the fix. So go ahead and show that. We'll rotate this around so you can see the pocket that I'm talking about here. This pocket that all this resides in has obviously become a little bit bigger. And so anyway, we'll pause the video real quick. I will remove this and show you exactly what needs to be done. Okay, all I did was remove this nylock nut, and now you can pull the outer radial bearing off along with the thrust bearing stack. Be careful though when you do this that you don't lose this little washer that is between this radial bearing and the thrust bearing. If you pull it all off as an assembly, or as a group I should say, that washer should stay in there. But anyway, just make sure you don't lose that. So anyway, pull this off. And what needs to be done is a washer, a really thin one, a shim, whatever you want to call it, needs to go on first, and then that thrust bearing group and outer radial bearing and washer go on after that. What that does, or where that washer sits, is on the inside of this recess. Oh, if I can get that thing in there. And if I can't, you get the idea. There, just like that. That washer is going to sit on the inside of that pocket where everything else resided. So the gap that was there before is now going to be taken up by that washer. That washer, I should note that the dimensions of it, I just happen to have two of those in my field box. They are not the correct size for the shaft. The inner diameter is too big, but the outer diameter is just about right. The dimensions of that particular washer are 8mm outer diameter. The inner diameter of the hole is 5.5 millimeters, and the thickness is 0.03 millimeters. Let me just verify that real quick with the other one I have. Okay, 0.3, sorry, not 0.03 but 0.3. So it's pretty thin, and I'm sure you can see that in the video that it's pretty thin. So anyway, that's what you need to do, is place something in there that will take up that gap. The proper size for that washer, the thickness is correct, but the other dimensions should be 9 millimeters by 4 millimeters. If you want it to fit the hub perfectly right here, should be 4mm diameter inside and 9mm diameter outside in order to have a perfect fit. But anyway, this one being 8 by 5.5 works just fine. At some point I'll get around to getting the proper size washer and put it in there just because, but anyway, it works for now. So let me pause the video again real quick and we'll proceed with putting it back together. Alright guys, last segment of this video. I already put the washer in this blade grip, so it's all fixed. On this one here, it hasn't been done, and I wanted to actually show it to you in real time for two purposes. One is to show you how quickly it can be done. The other is to show basically what needs to be done and point out a couple of precautions along the way. So if you'll bear with me, if you care to watch, I'm going to disassemble this real quick. You'll see that it doesn't take much time at all. Obviously, we'll start by removing the two small screws so you can separate the blade grip halves. And I have to say that although I'm not a fan of plastic either, that this is a very handy design, obviously because it affords quick and easy access to the internals without having to mess with Loctite and under tightening things. But anyway, the end result, I believe, is worth it in that it restores the precision to the tail as it was out of the box, and hopefully it will last longer than the stock tail did without the washer. So anyway, just remove, let me turn this around here, remove those two screws, pull the one half off, move the other half aside. It just stays attached to the pitch link, and from here I don't have a proper size wrench, but just a pair of pliers. Carefully remove the nylock nut, a few turns, and it can be removed by hand. There. Now, as I said earlier, be very careful that you don't lose that washer that's in between here. The best thing that you can do is just to grab the radial bearing and the thrust bearing as a whole group and pull it off. Grab the washer, stick it on there, if you can see that, and then put it all back on carefully. There. We'll put this nylock nut back on, and if you all have ever been inside this tail, you know that the nylock nut does not get cranked down hard. It gets cranked down completely, but it will bottom out, and at that point you don't really crank on it extra. There, that's it. It's all the way bottomed out. It's a little snug. There. Now all that's left to do is put the halves back on, and just make sure that washer that you put in there is going to fit in the pocket that the rest of it fits in. And really, if it doesn't, it's just not going to go together properly. So I will just put it in there like that. There, squeeze it, put the other half on, and put the screws back together. Geez, I've got to do this left-handed, otherwise it's going to block the whole picture. So here goes my left-handed operation. I'm not sure if there's a real need to sequence tighten these. There probably isn't, but I tend to follow that practice with generally everything that I do if it involves multiple fasteners. So anyway, you can see that this is just about done, and when it is, we'll do the same slop test, and you'll see that it's all gone. It's just all been taken care of. So we're just about there. Not sure how long that took, maybe a few minutes at the most. Like I said, I did this in the field. Really easy. I just happen to have some washers on hand. But whether you do it in the field or you do it at home, doesn't matter. It's just as quick. But you all know that these don't need to be tight. They just need to be completely together there. That's it. Okay, so let's check this. Do the same. I'm going to grab it, pull it apart. As you can see, there's nothing. It's completely slop free, and there's no slop this way either. It's completely taken care of, all of it. So, and it's still super smooth. So anyway, that's my quick fix for the slop in the tail, is to use a little washer like that. Not any washer will do. Just if you don't have the one of the proper size, definitely take care to make sure that whatever you're going to substitute the proper size with is not going to cause any binding or interference or anything bad like that in the tail. The washers that I used, I verified that before I put it together. And so anyway, whether or not this does anything for you, I guess your mileage may vary, but I had a friend with me, my flying friend, my best friend actually. He's a SAB Goblin USA field rep. He watched me do this mod the other day at the field, yesterday in fact, and not that it needed to meet his approval, but it did, and flew the helicopter immediately after that, and all the noise and oscillation and wag and everything else that I had experienced in the couple flights prior to that was gone. He commented that the tail, through certain maneuvers, was quieter than he's ever heard it, and to me it was definitely quiet. I noticed that, and super smooth, flew great, no bad tendencies. Everything was back to being good and happy. So anyway, there it is. No slop, quick and easy fix. I hope this video helped somebody. Maybe you're not dealing with this slop, but maybe you are, and if you decide to incorporate a fix like this, then let me know how it turned out. I'm sure you'll be met with good results like I was. Alright guys, have a good one. Go and fly.